Dear ladies and gentlemen, the Caribbean region is facing an extremely complex and dangerous spell of weather, as an expanding atmospheric disturbance combined with a monsoon band is causing prolonged heavy rainfall for many consecutive days. At the same time, in the north, a strong cold air mass from the North American continent is plunging southward, completely changing the weather picture over the Bahamas and Cuba, bringing strong winds, high waves, and a sudden drop in temperatures. Therefore, this week's weather situation is assessed as particularly serious, with risks of flooding, landslides, and widespread inundation in the Western Caribbean, while the northern part of the region shifts to an unusually dry and cold state. According to data from regional forecasting centers, the most active disturbance lies in the western and southwestern Caribbean, covering much of Belize, Honduras, Guatemala, and Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. For many days, thickly developing convective cloud masses have continuously dumped enormous amounts of rain, in some places exceeding 200 mm within just 24 hours. This weather system is described as nearly stationary, hardly moving, causing rainfall to keep piling up, river levels to rise, and flooding to spread rapidly. In Belize City, many central streets have been submerged and dozens of households have been forced to evacuate. In the mountainous areas of western Guatemala, landslides have blocked many routes, paralyzing traffic, while in Honduras, the civil defense has raised the alert level to the highest due to concerns that the rain will continue for at least 3 more days. On Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, especially at popular tourist destinations such as Cancun, Cozumel, and Tulum, thunderstorms occur continuously, accompanied by strong winds at Beaufort force 6 to 7, gusting to force 8. Many resorts have had to suspend outdoor activities, and tourist boats to the islands have all been postponed. Strong onshore winds have also caused average wave heights of 2 to 3 meters, making it difficult for fishing boats and small vessels to operate near shore. Satellite imagery today shows the entire area from Honduras to the Bay of Campeche covered by thick white thundercloud bands, signs that moist air is being drawn into the disturbance and that there is not yet a mechanism strong enough to push it away. The main cause of this extreme weather phenomenon is the interaction between two opposing air masses. A cold, dry, and dense air mass from the north is pushing southward, while to the south a stream of warm, moist air from the equator is blowing north. When these two air masses meet, they create a strong convergent zone where air is forced to rise, condense into convective clouds, and cause prolonged heavy rainfall. The boundary separating these air masses, also known as the cold front, is currently stretched across the northern Caribbean waters and has slowed down, becoming almost stationary. This stalling of the front is the reason the rain doesn't stop, because moisture from the monsoon flow is continuously being drawn upward but cannot escape elsewhere. Meteorological experts say this is a typical weather pattern of November, when the northeast monsoon begins to operate strongly and meets the southwest flow from the equatorial region. But this year the phenomenon is occurring earlier and more intensely than usual. As for the Bahamas, the area directly affected by the cold air, the sky has changed completely this morning. After many months of heat and humidity, residents in the capital Nassau, Freeport, and Lucaya recorded temperatures dropping to around 22 to 23 degrees Celsius this morning, nearly 6 degrees below the long-term average. Winds have shifted to the northwest, bringing in cold and dry air, rapidly lowering humidity. On the streets, many people shared the feeling of living in a different season, with fresher, cooler air and skies beginning to clear again. However, not every place in the Bahamas is enjoying such pleasant weather. In the central and southeastern areas, including Cat Island, Long Island, Exuma, Rum Cay, San Salvador, as well as the Turks and Caicos Islands, the cold front remains active. Moist northeasterly winds continue to blow in, causing convective clouds to develop and frequent showers to occur, with some places seeing thunderstorms and strong gusts. Seas in this area are very rough, with waves from 2.5 to 3.5 meters, posing hazards to marine activities. In Cuba, the weather shows a clear regional contrast. The western part of the island nation, including Havana, Pinar del Rio, and Matanzas, is now dry, with light sunshine and weak winds. But in the central and especially the southeastern regions, rainfall remains intense. The areas of Santiago de Cuba and Guantanamo have recorded many episodes of prolonged heavy rain, causing localized flooding in low-lying areas. Cuban meteorological agencies advise coastal residents to be cautious, as the potential for strong winds and high waves will persist at least until midweek. Moving further south, the weather in Central American countries such as Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, and Panama is heavily affected by this disturbance. The southwesterly monsoon band remains active, driving moisture from the Pacific into the mainland. Prolonged heavy rains for many hours have saturated the soil, increasing the risk of landslides in mountainous and steep areas. Experts warn that many rivers in Nicaragua and Honduras may exceed alert levels in the next 24 to 48 hours, while the interregional road network may be cut off due to floods. In Costa Rica and Panama, authorities are coordinating with the military to implement emergency response plans and prepare rescue supplies at areas prone to flooding. As for Jamaica and the Cayman Islands, although not in the core of the rainfall, indirect influence from the moisture stream still brings scattered showers and thunderstorms at many times of the day. In the capital Kingston, skies are overcast with intermittent rain, while in the island's west, especially the coastal areas of Hanover and Montego Bay, many places have recorded localized heavy rain in the afternoon. Grand Cayman Island is also forecast to see showers and strong nighttime thunderstorms, gusts to force 6 and slightly rough seas. The good news is that the Eastern Caribbean is gradually turning dry again. In Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands, today's weather is generally stable with only a few brief showers moving quickly from east to west, interspersed with light sunshine. Easterly trade winds blow strongly at 25 to 30 km/h, keeping the air fresh and significantly reducing humidity. Smaller islands in the Lesser Antilles such as Antigua, Barbuda, St. Lucia, Martinique, Barbados, Grenada, and Trinidad and Tobago also have fairly pleasant weather, with only occasional short showers in the late afternoon. The ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curaçao remain in an unusually dry state. Strong Atlantic winds blow in but without enough moisture, leaving the area with virtually no rainfall for many days, even though this period is typically considered the wet season. Regarding the potential for tropical cyclone formation, global forecast models such as the US GFS and Europe's ECMWF currently do not indicate any significant likelihood of a storm or tropical depression developing in the Caribbean over the coming days. However, this does not mean the weather will be completely calm. The expansive monsoon region remains highly active and is the very source of abundant moisture, causing ongoing thunderstorms. A few weak vortices may appear near the coast of Nicaragua or Panama, but they tend to hug the coast, find it difficult to move out to sea, and are almost incapable of strengthening into storms. Experts assess that moving deeper into the latter half of November, sea surface temperatures in the Caribbean will gradually decrease, combined with successive intrusions of cold air, making the environment no longer favorable for the formation of new storms. However, rainfall will continue at least until the end of the week due to the large residual moisture. Another issue receiving special attention is the condition of rough seas. Cold air moving deeply southward is creating strong northerly and northeasterly winds along the Bahamas archipelago and the eastern Cuban waters. Wave heights are forecast to reach 3 to 4 meters in the coming days. Tourist routes, small fishing boats, and civilian vessels are advised to limit going to sea. In addition, swells propagating from the north may cause temporary coastal erosion in Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. Island authorities are recommending that residents and visitors absolutely refrain from swimming or participating in water sports on days when strong wind warnings are in effect. Specifically, the 5-day rainfall forecast by region is as follows. In Belize, northern Guatemala, and Honduras, rain remains very heavy, locally extremely heavy, with totals possibly reaching 150 to 300 mm, locally over 400 mm. On Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula, moderate to heavy rain with gusts of 40 to 60 km/h, total rainfall 80 to 150 mm. Southeastern Cuba, Jamaica, and the Cayman Islands will have scattered showers, locally heavy rain, with totals of 40 to 100 mm. The central and southeastern Bahamas, along with the Turks and Caicos, will continue to see thunderstorms, strong winds, and rough seas, with rainfall of 70 to 120 millimeters. Meanwhile, Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Lesser Antilles will only have passing showers with totals under 50 millimeters, and the ABC Islands will be almost dry with totals under 30 millimeters. Looking toward the weekend, forecast models all show that the cold air mass will gradually weaken, helping to reduce rainfall in many places. However, the Western Caribbean, particularly Belize, Honduras, and Guatemala, will remain moist with light rain possibly continuing into early next week. Notably, because the soil has absorbed water for many days, the risk of landslides and flash floods remains very high, even if the new rainfall is not large. Residents are advised to remain vigilant, avoid traveling through mountainous areas or small streams when it is raining, and closely follow information from meteorological agencies and local authorities. Dear audience, this spell of weather once again demonstrates the harshness and unpredictability of the tropical climate. Just one stalled atmospheric trough is enough to cause serious damage to life and production. From Belize to Honduras, thousands of households have had to evacuate. Meanwhile, in the Bahamas and Cuba, the early season cold winds are completely changing the daily routines of coastal residents. Media Mundo will continue to update the latest information on the flooding situation in the Western Caribbean, as well as the evolution of the cold air plunging into the Bahamas and Cuba in subsequent bulletins. If you are living in the affected area, always stay updated on weather warnings, follow the guidance of the authorities, and ensure the safety of yourself and your family. Thank you for watching our bulletin. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this bulletin with relatives who are in the Caribbean, so everyone can grasp timely information. See you again in the next forecast bulletin from Weather Today. We wish you a safe and peaceful week amid the rainy and stormy season.